Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today we have a bit of a different video for my channel because I got so many requests in my recent Sephora recommendations video to share a tutorial on how I do my press-on nails. Now, I've been wearing press-on nails for the last several years. I do kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I'm just feeling the creativity of doing my own gels, so I'll do that for a while, but I always end up coming back to my press-ons just because they're so quick and easy. And I am quite loyal to Glamnetic. This video is not sponsored. They have no idea I'm making this video. It's just that that's the brand I have found that I love the very most, and I've been using their press-ons pretty much exclusively, and I will get into a lot of those details as to why. I also don't consider myself an expert on press-on nails, but just because I've been using them for so many years, I feel like I've learned so many tips and tricks along the way, both for nail health, but also for getting your press-ons to last the full 2 weeks. So I just wanted to share all of those tips and tricks with you along the way as well. And I've never done a video like this before, so I'm gonna do my best, but let's hop into it. All right, welcome to my little nail station. Today we are going to be removing the Frosted Cranberry set and putting on this new set in She's a Gift. These are both from this year's holiday collection. They're both in the short almond length. The short almond is actually a little bit longer than I like, but I've been loving these sets so much. And I'm just going to start by taking the little cuticle pusher stick that comes with the nails and just start by going around the edges of the nails just to loosen the glue. This set has been on for 2 weeks, so some of these will pop right off and some of them will need a bit of help. Some of these probably could go for another week if I wanted, but I never ever recommend wearing your press-ons for longer than 2 weeks just because as the nails grow out, you may get air pockets or moisture under the press-on, which can cause bacteria growth and then give you green nails, which you never want. So for the ones that are still pretty stuck on, Glamnetic does have a press-on nail remover product, which I do have, but I don't love because I feel like it leaves a weird residue on everything. So what I like to do, which seems to work just as well, is I will take a cuticle oil and just get some of that oil under the press-on to help it start breaking down the glue, and I'll just leave it for a few minutes while I start working on some of the other nails. And another easy way to take off your press-ons if you have time is to do a little bit of this glue loosening in the shower because the steam from the shower can really break that glue down quite quickly. I feel like it looks like I'm being really aggressive with pushing off the nails, but I'm actually not. I never recommend being too aggressive and forcing it if you're getting resistance. I just recommend going in with that cuticle oil and letting it break down the glue. So now that I have the nails off, I am going to work on cleaning my own nails. I did gouge one of my thumbnails, so it's looking pretty sad, but I'm just going to gently file the glue off my nail beds. I did see somewhere that it's better to go with the grain of the nail when you do this part because it's less damaging. It's really tempting to go side to side, but this does feel quite a bit more gentle. I'm just making sure to get any glue residue off the nail. And from there, I'm just going to push back my cuticles and I will also trim them if necessary. And I'm also going to trim and shape my natural nails to make sure they're short enough to fit under my press-ons. I also find that having press-ons on my nails does help my natural nails grow a little bit more quickly just because they're fully protected. Whenever I've been wearing gel consistently, I always find my nails get very thin and brittle and they need a break, whereas with press-ons that never happens. They always thicken up and grow out. These are also a fraction of the cost of salon gels. And now that I have this part done, I'm just going to go ahead and open that new set, which I'm really excited about. This is one of those sets where each of the nails looks a little bit different, which I'm personally not used to, but I'm kind of excited, at least for this set. It looks really pretty. Each set comes with a bunch of extra nails. I think there are something like 14 different sizes. You also get a file, you get a tube of glue, a cuticle stick, and an alcohol pad. So I always start by opening up all of the nails and I'm going to start going through each of the nails and trying to find my correct size. So I believe there are 14 different sizes in these Glamnetic sets and I believe it's 0 through 14 and each nail actually has a number on the back of the nail at the tip. So for example, if my pinky finger is a 12, then I will go and find the other 12 within the set, and I know that's going to work for my other pinky finger. That saves me quite a bit of time doing it that way. And you also want to make sure that the nail isn't too big or too small, because if it is, then it's going to pop off relatively quickly. You want to find the one that fits the absolute closest to your natural nail bed. So for me, my ring finger and my index finger actually are very similar sizes, but my nail bed on my ring finger is a little bit longer. So sometimes I have to take that into account. So I'm just going through and trying multiple nails on each one just to find the right ones. And you can see when I get one I like, I am actually lining them up perfectly so I know what finger they're supposed to go on. And I'm just going to continue this process for each of my nails until I am happy with all of the sizing and also that I like how my set looks. And then once I am done that, I'm going to go in and wipe down my nails with an alcohol pad. And this is very important to clean and dehydrate the nail. This is also a very important step to the longevity. If I don't do this, my nails pop off a lot faster. And you'll see that I also prefer to use their brush-on glue. The glue that comes in the kit is just fine. It's just I like the control I get with the brush-on glue. I also prefer to start on my left hand and leave my thumbs and index fingers free as long as I can so that I have that movement. So we are, of course, starting with the pinky nail. I'm going to first paint the back of the pinky nail with some glue, and I'm also going to put an even layer on my natural nail. I like to do the press-on first so that the glue has a chance to get tacky. And then I go in with the nail and I start at my cuticle on a 45-degree angle, and then I will slowly set the nail down on my own, and I will also make sure that it's straight. I like to go in on the 45-degree angle because I find that it helps to try to seal up that cuticle, and it helps with any glue seepage that might come out when I press down, and it also helps me avoid those air pockets getting under the nail. And then once that is in place, I will just pinch my finger for about 30 seconds, holding down that nail to help that glue stick. And if you do end up getting a little bit of glue seep out around the cuticles, that's totally fine. It happens to me all the time. I highly recommend either taking the cuticle stick, and you can just go around and scrape that off if you want to, or you can use a tissue. One thing I can tell you is to never use the alcohol pad to wipe off that excess, because something about the alcohol pad and the glue has a really weird reaction together and you end up with white crusties. I've done that a few too many times before I figured out what was going on. So just keep that in mind. Always just have a tissue on hand or use your stick. And I'm just going to repeat this for the rest of my nails, adding the glue to the back of the press-on and adding a thin layer to my own nail, going in on that 45-degree angle and pinching everything down. Now this set is also in the short almond. They have a bunch of other shapes. They have some medium lengths as well. I always go for a short. I tend to get either the short oval or the short almond. I sometimes like the short round as well. The short oval is 100% my favorite because it's the most natural length and it still has that flattering tapered shape. I love the almond because it's so flattering and elongating on my fingers, but they are a bit long. You can reshape them if you want, but I don't really like to do that. The only ones I actually tend to cut are their short round nails because I find the thumbs are just really, really long and I don't find that very functional. But I can certainly work with these short almond. I do spend a lot of time typing and these always hold up for it. So I'm always very impressed by that. It's just that I do prefer the oval, especially when it comes to typing. They're just the most natural feeling, but I love how these look on my fingers. So you can see I'm just going ahead and continuing this process for these first 3 fingers. And now we are ready to switch to the other hand and do those first 3 fingers as well. And I just like to leave my index fingers and thumbs free for as long as possible so I have as much dexterity as possible. And please ignore the scratches on the back of my hand. My cat and I had a disagreement. I thought I was making the bed. He thought we were playing. I sustained injuries, but it's okay. I'm sure it was all my fault. This is also my first Glamnetic set that actually has little gems on them. I feel like that's going to make me crazy just because I have a lot of weird texture issues, but I still think they look so pretty and they're so Christmassy without being too Christmassy since it's only November, but I am really excited to wear this set. Glamnetic has actually just started their Black Friday sale. I think they have 30% off on their website, which is crazy. So I do recommend that if you're already a press-on lover or if you're just looking to get into them, now is definitely a great time. Amazon definitely has a lot of press-on nails as well, a lot more affordable brands too. I haven't tried them, so I can't speak to the quality, but I can say that the application method would still be the exact same. Another thing I wanted to mention is once you put your press-ons on, you want to really avoid getting your hands wet for at least an hour. I feel like that's a good way to make sure that the glue is going to dry and nothing's going to get under there. Also want to avoid using a cuticle oil or hand lotion after you've done your press-ons. For me, that's typically the first thing I like to do after I've done a gel manicure, but with press-ons, you don't want to do that because they can disrupt the glue. So you want to wait at least an hour. For me, I always do my press-ons right before bed. That way I'm not tempted to do those things at all, but I will always just do them the next morning. And then that way the glue has had time to set, and then my nails typically do last about the full 2 weeks. And more often than not, I can still get another wear out of these sets. They're so impressive. Some of them wear down a little bit quicker, but like I mentioned earlier, if you find that they look a little bit dull, you can always just go in with a gel top coat and that will make them look a little bit more fresh and alive. And I always love these. I have honestly had people in my personal life mistake them for regular nails or just acrylics, but they are press-ons. They look so pretty. So here is our final set all done. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you want to see more nail content from me. I can definitely do that. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.